time has come. Shota Imanaga is on the bump once again, and this time it's against the Cardinals. How will he fare? We're going to talk about it. This is Krusty Case from the Go Boys Network here, coming with the slate preview for May 24th. Before we hop into this one, I wanted to let you guys all know you can find all these odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. And without further ado, let's hop right into the slate. So the first one we have is the Braves taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Darius Vines versus Bailey Falter. Vines getting called up again by the Braves. He's looked pretty good in his time in the majors. You know, a bit of a command issue. But this is a Pittsburgh team that really isn't hitting that well. So I think you should be able to navigate this team fairly easily. I don't love backing him just because, like I said, there's a little bit of an uncertainty there. But Bailey Falter on the other side, I don't see how the Braves don't just absolutely tee off on this guy. Bats are heating up, as we've seen. He's a lefty. This just feels like a spot where he gets absolutely tagged. So for now, I'm going to say the Braves team total, but I couldn't talk you off the Braves in terms of a money line or a -1.5 once we actually get a price on this one. But I love the team total. I think they put up runs. I think we see 5-6 runs out of the Braves here with relative ease. In terms of the Ks, I'm not going to look at either guy. As much as I want to fade Falter, Braves have had some issues with strikeouts. So would I be surprised if he covers a low line? No, absolutely not. Our next one is the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Detroit Tigers. This is Alek Manoah versus Matt Manning. Alek Manoah may be back. This guy has looked really good. He got touched up a bit in his first start. His second start pitched really well. I think just left him in a hair too long. And then this most recent start, he looked absolutely outstanding. So against a Tigers team that really the bats have quieted down quite a bit here. I think he could pitch well. Matt Manning on the other side, not a guy I'm super concerned with. I'm going to roll with the Blue Jays on the money line here. I'm going to back Alek Manoah. I'm going to back this Blue Jays team. They're on the road. Games to pick them. Not really surprised by that. But I think Manoah has an edge here. Like I said, you got a Tigers team just flat out not hitting right now. So a good spot for Manoah to continue to pitch well. It's obviously a very hitter-friendly or a pitcher-friendly ballpark. And I love the spot. So give me the Blue Jays here. I think they get this one done. In terms of the Ks, I don't see how you can't look at Manoah strikeouts. He's not a big-time K guy, not like he was a couple years ago, but probably about a K an inning. And against this Tigers team, man, they are starting to regress to everything that we hoped they would be when we're trying to take overs against them. Chase contact, continues to fall. Their chase rate continues to increase. And, Gosman just took him for 10. I believe the game before that, Cole Reagans took him for 12. So, this team is just letting other pitchers pile up Ks. So, Manoah strikeouts here and Toronto Blue Jays on the money line. Our next one is the Seattle Mariners taking on the Washington Nationals. This is George Kirby versus Mackenzie Gore. And I love this game. Probably my favorite game on the slate. Give me the Nationals. I think Seattle and Kirby getting a lot of line respect here, and I'm not really sure they're deserving of it. Kirby, obviously we know what we're going to get. He's going to pound the zone. He's going to be efficient. That's a given. But he can get tagged. You've seen it time and time again. When you're in the zone as much as he is, if you get a team that can catch up to the fastball, they're going to hit it and they're going to cause some problems. Well, I don't necessarily think Washington's that team that's going to, tag him and he's going to go 4 or 5 runs. I do like them. They're a pesky team at the plate. They do put the ball in play pretty consistently, and they have guys who can handle the fastball. So I like that. In terms of Seattle, you're facing Mackenzie Gore, who we all know can rack him up. And I just think this is a tough spot for Seattle. Every lefty they've seen, they've made look like basically a world beater. And now you're going to see a power pitcher lefty. I think Mackenzie Gore has a huge day on the mound in terms of Ks. I think he pitches really well on this one. Probably goes deep into this game as long as he can keep the walks down. And I think the Nationals pick up a big win at home here. Our next one is the Kansas City Royals taking on Tampa Bay Rays. This is Seth Lugo versus Sean Armstrong. I'm going with the Royals. I like Seth Lugo. This guy's been outstanding. Leads the all of baseball in innings pitched and all kinds of other stats as a pitcher, ERA. He is absolutely outstanding. As I mentioned before, he upped his curveball usage like 4 or 5 starts ago, and he's generating a lot more swings and misses, and he's just overall just pitching a lot better. Guy's been outstanding. You get a super aggressive Tampa Bay Rays team here, and I think he could absolutely work against this team. Like I said, curveball, RPMs are through the roof. If you've never seen it before, it's definitely something you need to see. Like I said, Lugo pitching really well. I think the Royals can get the win here. Armstrong, not great. Probably not going to pitch super deep into this game. So I do expect the Royals to get some runs here. And like I said, I like Lugo to pitch well. He's on the road, I know, but he's been great. This guy has been outstanding. And, when you have a guy who's in a groove like that, you can't help but back him. Next one is the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on Cincinnati Reds. This is James Paxton versus Graham Ashcraft. I'm rolling with the over. Total's at 9.5. I think it's 9.5 for a reason. You're at Great American Ballpark. Got the Dodgers facing Graham Ashcraft in a relatively close proximity start. And I think that they absolutely tee off on this guy. I don't love backing the Reds, like trusting their offense, but I think seeing Paxton for a second time this close together, it's similar situation where they're just going to tee off. I love runs in this one. I think this thing's going to be crazy high scoring. I think they soar over this total. I'm thinking probably 15 total runs in this game, to be honest with you. In terms of the Ks, not looking at another guy. Paxton under, if anything. This Reds team, surprisingly against lefties, has been pretty K adverse, 20%. So, depending what the line's at, I would definitely look to fade Paxton's Ks here. Our next one is the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Boston Red Sox. It's Bryce Wilson versus Cutter Crawford. I'm going to go Boston on the money line here. I like Cutter Crawford at home. He's looked really good. As we've seen with pretty much the entire Boston pitching staff, they made some changes to their pitch mixes, throwing a lot more off speed, and they're having a ton of success, not reliant on the fastball. And I expect that to work really well here against Milwaukee. Milwaukee as a whole, hitting pretty well this season. I won't deny them of that. WRC plus right around like 110, so definitely are hitting well. But Crawford's been really good to lefties, and he's going to see probably 5 or 6 of them in this lineup. So I think he can manage this lineup pretty easily. Bryce Wilson, not a guy I expect to pitch super deep here, probably about 5 innings. And Boston's crushing righties too. So Boston at home, they're at Fenway. They take advantage of Bryce Wilson here, get some runs, and I think Cutter Crawford has a nice outing. As I mentioned with the thing about lefties, I couldn't talk anybody off of strikeouts either. I'm assuming it's going to be around 5.5, and I think he covers that. Like right around 37% K rate versus left-handed hitters. He's going to see, like I said, probably 5 of them at least, maybe a 6th. Then you're going to see some high K righties too with like Willie Adames in the lineup, possibly Gary Sanchez as well. So I don't see, probably minimum 6 targets, possibly 7 or 8 targets, truthfully. I don't see how Cutter Crawford does not cover his strikeouts here. Our next one is the San Francisco Giants taking on the New York Mets. It's Kyle Harrison versus Christian Scott. Christian Scott, his last start, finally got touched up a bit in the majors. Had 2 really good starts prior to that. And, gave up some runs to the Marlins of all teams. So I do like a bit of a bounce back here. I mean, Giants are kind of starting to stroke it a little bit. So definitely a little bit concerning because the bats, seem to be hot. But I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go with the Mets. They're at home. I like the bounce back. I'm just not a big Kyle Harrison believer. He just hasn't impressed me that much, truthfully. Didn't impress me a ton last year, and this year it's really no different. The stuff just doesn't look good. You get a Mets team that was crushing lefties for a while. They've cooled off a bit, kind of starting to find it again. I like this spot for them to find it. Kyle Harrison, heavily reliant on his fastball, and I think this Mets can turn on it. Mets team can turn on it. So, even the Mets on the money line here. I think they get this one done. In terms of Ks, no real interest in backing either guy. Giants have been crazy K adverse. We just saw them hold Paul Skeens and Jared Jones to 2 of their lowest K totals of the season. So, if anything, I'd lean under. I won't get there personally because I still don't believe that this Giants team is as K adverse as they've looked. But lean under. Won't get there. Our next one is the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Chicago White Sox. This is Corbin Burnes versus Chris Flexen. Total for this game seems a little low, 7.5. I mean, I guess it's like a Corbin Burnes type thing where they don't think he's going to get any runs, which, I don't disagree. But for me here, I'm going to go with the Orioles, minus 1.5. I debated the player performance level with Corbin Burnes. He's one of those guys who, when he's pitching well, he doesn't necessarily have to strike guys out. So I'm just going to back Burnes to pitch well. I'm going to back this Baltimore team to get to Flexen because I just don't think Flexen is any good. And I think Baltimore handles this one once again. They handled the White Sox pretty easily in the first game of the series. I believe it was like 8-2 or 9-2. And I expect them to do something similar here once again. Flexen, he's been serviceable this season, but I just think this Baltimore lineup is going to be a big ask for him to try to shut down. And Corbin Burnes, I just think he keeps rolling. You get a White Sox team. Obviously, we already know Robert's been out for a while. Eloy is now hurt. So you're just getting a really, I mean, the team's already watered down as is, but you're getting an even more watered down lineup here with, a lot of their big bats not playing. So I just think Burnes, dominates this inferior lineup here. They're going to be totally overmatched. Our next one is the Texas Rangers taking on the Minnesota Twins. This is Jose Urena versus Bailey Ober. I look at this one, and I see the Twins at -150 versus Texas Rangers, and I think that's hilarious. I can't lay that, and I don't trust Texas enough right now with the state of their offense to beat Ober. But I will say in this one, I do like the Nerfy. I like the no runs in the first inning. Biggest concern is Marcus Semien, obviously super aggressive on the first pitch, but Twins are well aware of that, so I don't expect them to leave him a hittable pitch, especially on the first pitch of the game. I think they can both get us, 3 quick outs and get us this Nerfy here. In terms of Ks, I don't love either guy. Just not a spot I'm looking back. I think Jose Urena's walks could be in play just because he's a guy who, consistently loses the zone and could, walk even teams that don't have high walk rates like the Twins. But don't love the Ks here. Our next one is the Chicago Cubs taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. This is Shota Imanaga versus Miles McCullough. And I'm going to go with the Cubs in the first 5. They are a playable favorite, only -135 on the money line. But I don't want to worry about their bullpen and the Kyle Hendricks late inning experiment thing that Craig Counsell's doing. I have no interest in trusting them to close out a game with Kyle Hendricks in the back end of the bullpen. So give me the Cubs in the first 5. I'll take the -half a run. That's fine. Very playable odds. And I expect Shota to continue to deal. He's given us no reason to not believe he's going to go out and do the same thing he's been doing. And I just love this spot. Cardinals team not really hitting lefties at all right now. And I think, first time seeing him in Naga, he's going to dominate this lineup. Miles McCullough, very familiar with this Cubs team. Cubs are very familiar with him. Heavily reliant on his sinker. And I think that this Cubs team has plenty of bats. Bellinger, Ian Happ, who's been scuffling a bit, who absolutely crushed the sinker. So expect the Cubs to put up some runs here. Wouldn't be surprised they get it done early. I think Imanaga deals. So give me the Cubs, -half a run in the first 5. Our next one is the Philadelphia Phillies against the Colorado Rockies. This is Christopher Sanchez versus Ty Blatch. I can't personally lay -200 or even like the run line with the Phillies with Christopher Sanchez on the bump. I don't trust him like that. He's been serviceable, definitely had some nice starts, and I think he pitches well here because this Rockies team, while they have been hitting righties pretty well, lefties can't say the same thing. So I think Sanchez can pitch decently well here. But the way I'm going to go is the Phillies team total. Obviously, we know scorching hot right now, literally hitting everything. You get Ty Blanche, a lefty, who I think they just absolutely tee off on, and they're at Coors. So you couldn't ask for a better situation for runs here. And I think they put up, like I said, 5, 6, 7. I mean, you might see double digits, truthfully. This offense is scorching hot. And right now, the Rockies are just kind of in the way. So Phillies team total, I love it. I think it's a great look. Christopher Sanchez, the strikeouts, he had 10 against them earlier this season. It was in Philadelphia. Obviously at Coors now, a bit of a different effect on the ball. But we have seen guys with changeups find success at Coors. Pepiot, I believe he had double-digit Ks against Colorado. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sanchez runs it up once again. Changeup has played pretty well at Coors overall. So I like Sanchez case here. Our next one is the Cleveland Guardians taking on Los Angeles Angels. This is Logan Allen versus Patrick Sandoval. Total at 8.5. Felt a little high. I don't trust these offenses personally. So for me here, I'm going to go with the Angels team total over. So we get two teams who really just, like I said, I don't trust them a ton. But Logan Allen, to me, he gives up a lot of contact. Stuff isn't great. So I think that the Angels can put up some runs here. I don't love Cleveland to put up runs against Sandoval. I just think Sandoval is going to have a nice outing here. This Cleveland team is not what we're used to. They're super aggressive at the plate, not making nearly as much contact as they were, early in the season or in years past. So I like Patrick Sandoval to pitch decently well, but more than anything, I like the Angels to score some runs. Give me the Angels team total over. Our next one is the Houston Astros taking on Oakland Athletics. This is Justin Verlander versus Ross Stripling. If you pay attention to the Athletics, they just use every bullpen arm they have in the last 2 days. They just had a crazy extra innings game against the Rockies where I believe they traded the lead like 4 times. So absolutely insane. No bullpen arms left at all. So Ross Stripling's going to have to wear it here. So give me the Astros team total. I like this spot because with Stripling is struggling, they don't really have a choice. They already have a lot of starters who are hurt. Bullpen is completely taxed, and they just don't have the arms. So Stripling's going to have to stay out there. Even if he's getting hit up, they're going to have to let him wear it. And there's nothing they can do about it, really. I mean, it's going to have to get pretty ugly before he comes out of the game. So I like the Astros to put up runs here. I just think it's a great spot to take advantage of Stripling, who we already know struggles. And he just saw this Houston team, which only is going to help them even more. So I expect the Astros to put up a ton of runs here. Astros team total, I love it. I think it's a great look. Couldn't talk anybody off of Justin Verlander strikeouts either. K-Stuff has not been there, obviously. He's 41 years old, so I don't expect it to be. But Oakland, over the last 2 weeks, just striking out a ton. Contact rate is plummeting. K rate is skyrocketing. So just a great spot for JV to get Ks. I think he covers them relatively easily. And I think the Astros, like I said, score a whole bunch.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one is the Miami Marlins taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is Braxton Garrett versus Zach Gallen. So for me here, as much as I want to back Zach Gallen, which I will in some capacity, I'm just going to back the Diamondbacks as a whole. I'm going to go with Diamondbacks first 5, -1/2. If you don't like that, then I also like Diamondbacks team total. So facing a lefty, they crush lefties. Obviously, Zach Gallen at home, it's pretty much an auto play to play the first 5. So you got to go with the Diamondbacks -1/2 run in the first 5. Expect Gallen to deal. Face a Miami team that WRC plus just around 75 over the last 2 weeks. Over the last month, it's not any better. So they're not hitting. They're not seeing a lot of pitches. Gallen's going to pitch probably 7 innings in this one with relatively, little resistance. Excuse me. I don't love the Ks. Miami just overall has been not K'ing a ton. But I love the pitching outs for Gallen. I love Diamondbacks in the first 5, and I love their team total. But my official play for this one will be the Diamondbacks -1/2 run in the first 5.
Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets.
Our last one on the slate is the New York Yankees taking on San Diego Padres. This is Carlos Rodon versus Yu Darvish. I don't like this game, to be honest with you. I'm not a big Yu Darvish believer. He looked pretty good against the Braves. Rodon is a guy who I back way too much, and he always seems to burn me. So for me in this one, I'm going to go with the Durfee. I don't think it's that scary, truthfully. I like these pitchers enough to get us, 3 outs in the first inning. If Rodon can get out a rise, which I think he should be able to, the rise isn't nearly as good against left-handed pitching, then I think he can navigate probably Machado and Tatis, at least the first time through, with relative ease. And on the other side, Darvish, I mean, you're going to see probably Volpe, Soto, and Judge. So Soto, your one concern, but they're playing at Petco, so I'm not nearly as concerned with him at Petco as I would be at like Yankee Stadium. So give me the Nerfy here. We can get in, we can get out, we can count our money. In terms of Ks, I don't love either guy. If anything, small lean to Rodon under. I just don't buy into the Padres K numbers against lefties. They're extremely low, but when they face these like power type pitchers, Chris Sale, Nick Lodolo, they've really struggled. I don't necessarily put Rodon into that category because his slider isn't as good as those guys, but I do think he can find some success here, so I wouldn't be surprised if he covers his Ks. I just don't love it. That does conclude the slate, though. If you guys could do me a favor, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys are playing. I always love reading them. As always, you can get all my plays at goldboys.com. Coming off a 4-0 day, looking to keep it rolling. You guys got plenty of time to get in there and get the plays for this slate. And if you have a gambling problem, Dial 100 Gambler. Thanks, guys.